Hello everyone, and welcome back to Weekend Moblin. That's right, it is finally time to put the Pokemon content to a close with a final review of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I've spent over 90 hours with the game making sure I got all the impressions on it to inform you all correctly of my overall experience and how much I enjoyed the game. With that being said, let's waste no time because there's a lot to talk about. From the good to the bad, this is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Okay, so let's start things off with the obvious, and that is the story. For anyone that has played a past Pokemon title, this should come as no surprise. With that being said, there will be some spoilers here, so you might want to skip on ahead using the timestamps in the pinned comment below. The story starts off with you and your friend Hop meeting up with his older brother and champion of the Galar region, Leon. You'll learn a lot about Hop and Leon's relationship as you go through your adventure, and it's one of the few things I'm sure you'll grow to look forward to seeing. You're introduced to the professor's assistant and Leon's former rival, Sonia. She will quickly become a series favorite with her personality that I won't spoil here. You'll be tasked with collecting the 8 badges around the Galar region, and that's one thing that they did a fantastic job hyping up this time around. Gyms are treated like a major sports event in Galar, and you'll be treated to the roar of the crowd as you use some new Dynamax and Gigantamax features that will allow you to grow into Godzilla-style monsters. We'll go into more detail about that when I go into detail about the gameplay. Let's move on. The gym leaders themselves have some great human designs for the series, and I'd go on to say probably some of the best yet. Along with their animations during the battle, it's all pretty neat. Along the way, you'll meet the chairman and his assistant, and you'll be informed of the wishing stars that the chairman wishes to collect for reasons that I definitely don't want to spoil here as well. You'll also meet 2 more rivals throughout your journey by the names of Bede and Morene. One is a traditional jerk that turns good later, and the other is a more fleshed out and unwillingly followed by her brother's group known as, well, Team Yell. They are the Rockets of this adventure, yet with a much smaller role at play, and not so evil. Once beating the badges, you'll have to take on the champion Leon, but before that, you'll learn of the Darkest Day, a day in which Pokemon would turn giant and go on a rage, destroying everything. I would go into more detail, but I seriously would hate to spoil the entire story for this review. I just want to get the main points across and move on without giving everything away. The post-game isn't very large, with you simply having to go around stopping 2 members of the royal family from causing chaos, going around to each gym doing a simple battle and moving on. Other than a few small cutscenes, that's about all there is to it. Now with the basic story out of the way, let's move on to the gameplay. Now that's the one thing you can definitely say has its ups and has its downs. While I'll enjoy the same Pokemon formula that's been around for all these years, I can't help but feel maybe more of an upgrade was needed for the first ever main series console Pokemon title. Yes, I know of Gale of Darkness and Colosseum, but we're talking main series here. I don't know, maybe I'm just spoiled. Anyway, that being said, there is some great new things here, with the addition of being able to purchase up to 26 vitamins at a time and use them all to EV train a Pokemon in a flash, and the addition of an in-box IV checker to see how good your IVs are in an instant. This, along with the new experience candies going from extra small to extra large, you can level Pokemon to 100 within 10 minutes after post-game. Battle Tower will allow you to buy nature-changing mints in order to make your favorite Pokemon to have the features in nature you know is best for its abilities. All these changes and more are present here, and they are extremely welcomed. You can even access your box at any point, making breeding and all-around Pokemon handling so much better. Now, there are some things missing here, from the obvious lack of the national dex to even some more old moves from the past games. Mega Evolutions and Z-moves have taken the backseat to the new Dynamax and Gigantamaxing features. This allows your Pokemon to grow massive in size for up to 3 turns, gaining the ability to use new, more powerful attacks. Raid battles is what you will find yourself using the most after the post-game. Raid battles can range from 3 to 5 stars, and when you're at 4 stars or above, there is a chance of running into a max IV'd Pokemon, making your perfect Pokemon hunting time cut in half. This also holds the possibility of them having a hidden ability and certain egg moves. The quality of life changes this time around are simply mind-blowing for longtime fans of the series. You can gain watts from each raid den, and they can even be used to purchase different types of Pokeballs and moves from trainers around the wild area. This is where the game shines the most. The wild area is this game's small open world like area where Pokemon will roam all over the overworld. From small Pokemon to stronger Pokemon that you can't even take on when you first access the area. It's not the biggest area you'll ever explore, but I've found in my time with it that it's the perfect size for what it is. And the raid battles and the random Pokemon that appear in the random weather makes for a much more enjoying way to level up than the last game's Elite Four grinding to reach level 100 over and over. There's nothing to really explore here and no side quest to do in the overworld. It's a nice step in the right direction for sure, but to say it's lacking would be a bold-faced lie, and I'm not about to do that. The online, because of the wild area, is the best yet, I'd have to say. You can team up to take on raid battles, and even share raids among friends when you need help or you simply have a version-exclusive Pokemon. You can camp, trade, and battle at ease as well. Speaking of camping, that feature is something I oddly found myself enjoying more than I thought I would. Seriously, your Pokemon will fight each other if they aren't familiar with each other yet, become best friends, and even fear one another from time to time. You can play with them using a Pokeplush or this feathered duster that they'll playfully attack. You can use ingredients collected throughout the wild area using watts and berry trees to cook curry. This will make your Pokemon very happy and boost experience depending on how good you are at mixing. It's a neat feature, and I've honestly found myself just leaving it in the background while I do other things just because, well, I like watching my Pokemon interact. Going on more into post-game, the Battle Tower opens up, ran by none other than Leon, and it's where you'll go to truly test your skills. It's important for competitive players to use this part of the game to the max, cause it's battle points you'll need to buy most of this game's necessary items that you'll need for the perfect Pokemon. And it's also after your first battle with Leon at the tower that you'll gain access to the previously mentioned IV checker. Let's get into the music for a moment. The Battle Tower battle theme is done by none other than Toby Fox of Undertale fame. It's a great track, and you'll be happy to know that it's followed by some of the best soundtracks in the series to date. I loved a lot of what I heard here, and I have absolutely zero complaints on anything that I heard. I love the areas around the Dusty Bowl. That's some of my favorite music yet, and me and my wife agree that the wild area's main theme puts us both in the mindset of a track straight from Kingdom Hearts. From gym battles to your rivals, the legendary music, it's all great, and they went all out here. This is one thing, in my opinion, they definitely got right with this title. Okay, so I can't keep avoiding it forever, so let's go ahead and get into the atmosphere and overall presentation of this game. Unfortunately, this is where things go south and fast. I wouldn't mind this issue if it wasn't for being told the reason they cut the Pokemon was to better animations. Well, sadly, that's not the case. This looks like an updated 3DS game, and I'm not saying it looks terrible, but for a company that makes so much and is represented by Nintendo, I honestly did expect better for Pokemon's first console outing. The wild area, while nice, doesn't have much to go on and lacks in a lot of what brings the world of Pokemon to life. This would be fine 10 years ago, but wow does it show its age now. The Pokemon themselves, minus the new, are straight from 3DS models and have little to no new animations to speak of. This is sad considering what was supposedly given up to make this happen. The Pokemon glitch constantly and some move little to none. The weather effects, while nice, don't really come off as impactful as you would hope from a modern title. I know I'm starting to sound like I hate the game, but I'm just calling it like I see it. This should have been better. I just can't help but feel like they just could have done more here. What is here is good, but I know the potential of the series, and it's being held back by things like this. I hope to see some major improvements on this going forward in future titles. Seriously, this needs some work. The new Pokemon, on the other hand, looks simply amazing. I found myself having a hard time sticking with the 6-Mon team like I did in the past titles. I wanted to level up so many, from just plain awesome to awesomely stupid. There are some interesting designs on display this time around. I'd go into more detail about them, but we seriously have an entire hour-long video going over most of the Pokemon and what we think about them, so you can check it out in the description below. Now, that's not to say I don't have some new series favorites, from Surfetch to Berserker, yes, Galar region has some awesome looking Pokemon that I found myself falling in love with, even new evolutions to boot. This was my favorite thing to do in the game, catching the new Pokemon and using them in battle. In the end, the lack of Pokemon might have hurt, but I can't say I don't love what's here, and have no issues using them for the battles in the coming years. While I miss my Electivire, I'm welcoming these new Mons with open arms. Personally, because of my belief that they only kept Pokemon back to resell them at a later date, I gotta say I do hold a bit of a grudge and will be holding it against these titles. That being said, what did I overall think of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and how high is it scored by us here at Weekend Moblin? Well, due to the reasoning of the lack of Pokemon being, well, a simple lie, and the overall presentation on display, when we know they can do better, we have to minus a point there alone. I'm tempted to minus more, but honestly, if I played it over 90 hours, I've had to enjoy it, and yeah, it obviously deserves a good score. With that being said, Pokemon Sword and Shield walks away with an 8 out of 10. While it is lacking in content and also in the visuals, it holds a lot of quality of life changes I've wanted to see for years. Maybe the next outing will hold more innovation? Only time will tell, but till then, this has been Weekend Moblin saying, stay tuned, till next time.